Hello and welcome you all to the UPSC Being. We have started a video series in which we are covering the fundamentals of all GS subject based on NCERT and recommended authors. So, in a chronological way, we will cover the basics of each and every subject using interactive technique of teaching where MCQs will be presented to you and you can pause your video to give answer, and later fundamental concept using MCQ will be explained to you all. This video series will come in 16 sets and 80 MCQ because what we believe is in quality over quantity. These are the concepts that I have explained you in the last set. Factor of production, green revolution and phenomena associated with it. Human capital, what is economic activity, various sector of economy. So if you haven't watched it yet, you can watch it. The link is in description. And if you want the PDF of this lecture, you can join us on Telegram. And if you want to play daily MCQ quiz, you can follow us on Instagram. Link of both is in description. So let's start with the quiz that I asked you in the last set. And that was associated with the food security. I have given you 3 parameters and you have to tell which are these 3 must be ensured in order to ensure food security in a country. So, food security can be ensured when first statement is enough food is available. Second statement is all persons have capacity to buy of acceptable quality. Third, there is no barrier on access to food. And you have to choose the right combination. You have 4 combinations here. First, 1 only, B, 1 and 3 only, C, second and third only, and D says all of the above. I will suggest you to pause the video and answer within 45 seconds because that is the standard time you get in your examination hall. So let's move forward toward the right answer. And the right answer is D. So all these 3 all these 3 things must be ensured in order to make food security possible in a country. So the concept food security, let's discuss it in the next slide. What is food security? So food is as essential for living as air is for breathing. But food security means something more than that. Getting 2 square of meal. Food security has 3 dimensions that are discussed below. Food is, this concept is clear to most of the person. Everyone knows what food is, but security, the definition of security, what we have in layman language and what is must for food security is different. For food security, these 3 things must be ensured in order to say there is a food security in economy. So first thing is availability of food. Food must be abundantly available. It should be available in the government granaries as well as there should be enough import for as per the need of an economy. Second thing, accessibility. It should be within the reach of every person. A particular section or particular person should not be made inaccessible to the food, and by food I mean safe and nutritious food. Second and the last thing, affordability, that it should be that everyone is able to buy those food and the food must be safe and nutrition to meet one's dietary need. And all these 3 requirements when fulfilled, then only food security is ensured in an economy. So let's move forward toward the first question of today's set. And the first question is associated with the national income, or you can say the total income. And you have to tell that why it's not a good tool to compare the development level of different countries using total income. And the option available to is different population number. Second, different inflation rate. C, different debt level. D, different income level. I will suggest you to pause the video and try to answer the question. Let's move forward to the right answer. And the right answer is different population number. So before I can explain you why this particular thing or this particular is the reason that national income is not appropriate tool for comparing the development of different countries, you must understand some concept including what is total income. So let's move toward the next slide. If any particular concept is not clear to you, after the video get over, you can re-watch it, the same concept, and understand. Still, if you have any query, you can comment it down. We will try to answer each and every query. So let's move forward toward the concept. What is total income? So national income is the monetary value of all goods and services produced in country during 1 year. When we talk about total goods and services that are produced within a geographical boundary of the country, then it's GDP. But when the net income from abroad is added to you or added to it, it becomes the national income of the country. So the national income is clear, that the value of the goods and services produced in an economy plus the net income and from abroad. Moving toward the next thing, that is the GDP. How to calculate GDP? The value of goods and services, if you total it, that value of each and every good and services that is produced in economy, that will form the part of GDP. But when we divide the value of total income or the total of goods and services produced in economy by the population of the country, it becomes the average salary or the average income of that country. So GDP per capita is calculated by dividing the GDP. And what was the GDP? The value of the final goods and services produced in an economy by the total population of that country. Then we get the GDP per capita. So the first concept, what is national income, is clear. What is GDP is clear. And what is GDP per capita is clear. These three are concepts which are must to understand before we move forward. So here is an example that I have given you, that why that total income is not a right factor to compare between two countries. In a very simple way, using single unit, I have compared between these two countries. So what I said, what the question says, that if the country is producing certain amount of income or certain amount of value of goods and services, suppose in country X, the total income of all the people is 100 rupees and the total population is 2. So in a country 2 people lives and they produce 100 rupees value goods and services. Whereas there is other country Y where 3 people live and total amount of goods and services, so the total earning of that country is 120. So if we see just the total income, X has 100 rupee and Y is 120 rupee. So it is obvious that Y is richer, it has 20 rupees more. But is it true? And how? The country X has only 2 people. So if we divide these 100 rupees between these 2 people, the average income will be 50 rupees per person. While if in the country Y, the 120 is divided among the population, which is 3, the average income will become 40. That is less than the 50 rupees. So the total income is not a right factor or not a right tool to compare between the two countries, whereas the GDP per capita is much more appropriate tool for comparison. Hence, total income is not a useful measure to compare development level of different countries, because difference in population between country will not present true position as in the above example. So let's sum up it up. However, for comparison between countries, total income is not such as useful measure, since countries have different population. Comparing total income will not tell us what an average person is like to earn. Are people in one country better off than other in different countries? Hence we compare the average income, which is total income of country divided by the total population. The average income is also per capita income. If by any chance this concept or what the question meant is not clear to you, in the next slide 100% the things will be clear to you, because in a simple way using a real figure I will explain you this concept. So here is a graph and here is the explanation. If we talk about the GDP of India, you have heard that it has surpassed from 7th position to 5th position current. So in the world, if you see the GDP of our country, it is 5th in number. India is projected to become the 5th largest economy of the world. But is it true? If we are the fifth greatest nation in the world, we should be far greater than the services that we have. We should have far greater infrastructure. That it is the fifth best country in the world according to GDP. But when we come to the GDP per capita, you can say GDP per the average income of per individual, what our rank is 145 in the whole world. We stand at 145th position, and this is the gap between the fifth largest, being fifth largest, and being 145th. The gap is too much. So you can see that just because a country has large income does not make it a developed nation. Because if we are the fifth largest economy and it means that we are the richest country, then we should also have the greater infrastructure. There should be no poverty, there should be no inequality. But the reality is we are on the 145th position when it comes to the average income. So total income is not a good parameter to compare between two economies, while per capita income is the right parameter compared to the total income to compare between two economies or two countries. So moving toward the next question. Next question says, non-institutional loan is the major source of credit to rural household in India. RBI supervises the credit activities of lender in informal sector. You have to tell which statement is right, and the options are one only, second only. Both are the right statement. Neither one, neither two is the right statement. You can pause the video and try answering the question. Let's move forward toward the right answer, and the right answer is one only. So two concepts that are associated with it are the what is RBI and what is non-institutional loans. So moving toward next slide for the explanation part. Explanation is first statement that I said you is wrong, whereas the first statement is right. That is, the non-institutional loan is the major source of credit in rural household. There is word rural. So in rural areas, the major portion of loans come from non-institutional sector or the non-institutional entities, whereas the RBI supervises the credit activities of lender in formal sector only, not in informal sector. Here is a graph. You can see that sources of credit per thousand of rural household. So from where they borrow, 1% in 1000 borrows from government, whereas from regulated sector only 25% of borrowing come, and from commercial bank that is 25, and you can see 33% there, those are money lender, 1% is landlord, 8% are relative and friends, while other non-institutional agencies are 2%. So statement 1 is correct, and this graph set as proof for it. And moving toward the next question, that is question number 3. According to World Bank, countries with per capita income of $12,056 or more is considered to be rich countries. Second statement is all rich countries are categorized as developed country, and you have to tell which is the right statement. And the option available to you is A, one only, B, two only, or C, both above are right, and D, neither one, neither two is right. I will suggest you to pause the video and try answering the question. Moving toward the right answer, and the right answer is one only. So World Bank has published a report where it says that if a country has the per capita income of $12,056, it will be considered a rich country. And just because a country is rich, it does not mean it is a developed country. For example, all oil-rich countries, which are Central Eastern countries, they are very rich. But are they developed? That is the question. So let's move toward the explanation part. And as it is clear, GDP concept was clear. GDP per capita is the total amount of goods and services that is produced in an economy. If we divide that value from population, then the concept we will arrive at GDP. So as the question says that if the per capita income or the GDP per capita average income of a country is $12,056, so if the total amount of value of the goods and services that is produced in economy, suppose that is X amount, and the population of country is also X, if we divide that and the amount comes $12,056 or more. That will be the average income of that country. So if that comes, then it means that the country is rich. And in World Bank report brought out by the World Bank, this criteria is used in classifying countries with per capita income of US dollar 12,056 per annum and above in 2017 are called rich country. So definition of what a rich country is clear, that it should be earning 12,056 average. But the country which is rich, is it also a developed country? That is a question, and that is not right. The rich country, they may be, the example is given here, like Middle East countries. They are the rich countries, definitely, but they aren't the developed country. Another live example I give you, take China. China is the largest economy in PP terms and second largest in GDP term, but still it's a developing economy. Most of the institutes are now calling it a developed economy, but truth is the average income there is below what that is being declared by the World Bank. So it is still a developing economy, and it is the richest economy, you can say, because you can say it is the largest economy. The national income is also largest, but is it developed? No. So the country, to be rich, it must have average income. The average income of each nation must be 12,056 or more, and that is dollar, I again repeat. And a country just because it is rich, it does not mean that the country is developed. Moving toward the next question, and it is related with the Human Development Report. The concept associated with it is, what is the Human Development Report? And you have four options. It is also a question related with the current, so it will be a good if you are familiar with this report. So if you are watching it right now, so I will give you a current cues that what is the rank of Human Development Report about India in HDI. So write it down before I move forward. And about this question, the option available to you, that Human Development Report is published by World Bank, B, World Economic Forum, C, United Nations Development Program, and D, International Monetary Fund. And the right answer will be the C. United Nations Development Program is the one who published the Human Development Report. And in Human Development Report, there is a part, Human Development Index. So World Development Report is published by World Bank, as well as there is important index, that is Human Capital Index, that is also published by World Bank. But UNDP is the one that published Human Development Report and Human Development Index. So here's a summary of Human Development Report of 2019. The title of that Human Report Index was Beyond Income, Beyond Averages, Beyond Today, Inequalities, Human Development in 21st Century. So this was a theme. And the rank of Human Development Index, that is a sub part of Human Development Report, was 129 out of 189 country, and earlier it was 130th last year. And the one which has topped this ranking is the Norway, while Burundi, a African nation, is at the bottom. And there is also one more thing, IHDI ranking. When we add inequality in HDI, it forms IHDI ranking, and India has 130th ranking in IHDI countries, or that are 189 countries, and out of 189 countries, the rank of India is 130 in IHDI ranking. So what are the components of Human Development Report? So basically there are three components. Component number one is life expectancy at birth, second is average educational level, and third standard of living. So these three factors are taken in calculation of Human Development Index, and when we add one more factor, that is inequality in it, then it forms IHDI ranking. Moving toward the next question and the last question of today, development of a country can generally be determined by what? You have four options. Its per capita income, its average literacy level, health status of its people, and D, all the above. So you have to tell that what is the right component that determine the development of country. I will suggest you to pause the video and try answering the question. Moving forward toward the right answer, and the right answer is D. So these all factors are must for a development of country. So explanation about it, that all these three, as you see in the figure, that the health status, the education level, as well as the income among the country, all these three factors are must for the development of an country. So the quiz for today for you is, consider the following statement regarding Indian rupee. So the concept associated with this regarding the money, it has no intrinsic value. The Indian rupee has no intrinsic value. Second statement is, it is issued by government of India, and you have to tell which statement is right. The answer of this MCQ will be answered in the next video. Till then, stay home, stay safe, and right now, like this MCQ series, the MCQ series of polity as well as geography is going on, and current affair important topics will be covered by the Satyam sir, as well as various important case study will be covered by Devesh sir. And once this MCQ series is over, I will be taking a comprehensive course of economics where 50 plus video, this is some typing error, it's not 500 plus, it's 50 plus. So approx 50 plus video lecture will be taken targeting the prelims of UPSC 2021 by me, which have 300 or 300 plus MCQs along with that MCQ series, and complete handout will also be provided to you. So till then, if you like the video, do share it and subscribe and follow us on various social platforms. Thank you.